Personally, my feeling is that if the starter leaves the game with a lead, we should win.
The Brewers have probably been more consistent than any team in baseball as far as good to great bullpens.
We have some of the best in the game as far as I'm concerned.
They created this culture here of what it means to be a Brewers reliever in this era.
I think some of the guys are adrenaline junkies down there.
You're burning it for 15, 20 pitches, and then you're out of there.
Every time that phone goes off, heart starts beating a little bit quicker.
You put the weight of your world on that one inning.
That kind of pressure, it feels like life and death.
I know this could all be taken away from me, you know?
Abrieron esa puerta del bullpen, no hay vuelta atrás.
They've got to hope that he can put out the fire.
Bullpens have definitely become more important. The starters used to go, 7, 8, 9 innings. Used to be embarrassed to go 5 innings. It was always 8, 5 and fly, being mocked by your own teammates. And now it's tougher on the hitters because they'll throw 3 or 4 different relievers at you.
So you have to fill 9 innings in every game. These days, teams get less and less from their starting pitchers, so you're not going to get a team of 4 or 5 guys who all throw 200 innings and take that burden off the bullpen. It's much more of a team job, and that's where the relief pitchers come in.
The bullpen there is to pick up the starter when he's fatigued and tired and he can't go, and he's reached the end of his road. And so we are there to pick up the pieces, to piece the rest of the game together.
I think in politics they may call it a fixer. There's so much of a mess, but they have to come in a calm way and fix that mess. There are different levels of pressure in that. It could be early in the game, mid-game, the game could be on the line. We could lose the game in the 5th. A couple runners on, left by the starter. That's a big moment. We call that a fireman, per se.
The whole idea with the fireman is that the game's getting hot. The game's on fire. You need somebody to come in and put out the fire, to make things peaceful again.
They've always been put into difficult situations. It's the highest leverage moments of the game. You think about the dichotomy of teams that have a great bullpen versus teams that have a poor bullpen that blows games late. The emotional stress that puts on all the other players on the team, the coaches, and the fan base, really. So it's always been this crucial role that very short bursts in the highest leverage moments, and they need to perform in those short bursts.
There's 27 outs, but they're all not equal to, the first out should be just as important as the 27th out on paper. But we know being at a big league game, it's not. It builds, the innings build, and then it builds to those last 3 outs. So I just think they're specialists. It's a unique mindset.
For relievers, you may have one hitter on the night. And if that one hitter, doesn't exactly go the way you wanted it to, you may not get the ball again for 3 more days. So it definitely is harder. It's tougher in that aspect of things. But, I think guys thrive off that a little bit too.
I think some of the guys are adrenaline junkies down there, and they feed off that because, you could come in with no one on base and no outs, or you could come into a game bases loaded and no outs. So you really have no idea, and I think those guys thrive on that. They thrive on the crowd, and I think that's why you pitch at the back end of the game, and not everyone can pitch at the back end of the game.
He got him. A strikeout to end it. Devin Williams strikes out the side.
We always make it our goal to enter the season with our bullpen as a strength of ours. We know how we're going to win games. I think we have a history of that, is that we win those narrow games more than we lose those narrow games, and that's because of the bullpen here. So
our bullpen in Milwaukee has been the strength of the team for years. It's been a big asset. Guys came out of nowhere. I just think between the front office and the coaching staff, they've done a good job finding what guys do well and maximizing that, and not asking guys to do something maybe they're not capable of.
The Brewers have probably been more consistent than any team in baseball as far as good to great bullpens. And the big thing is just different arms. Left, right, different arm angles, soft throwers, hard throwers. That's the key. And so when you bring in these different relievers, hitters can't get comfortable.
We've definitely got a stable of guys down there that are going to come at you with with different looks, a variety of different looks. Guys like Devin, who kind of turned themselves into a lockdown closer that he is.
Devin Williams wants to win baseball games. He wants the ball in that situation. He wants the high moment. He wants to finish off the game.
You have guys that fill into that setup man spot.
Hyams, I think he's risen from the ashes a bit. I think he got the opportunity to pitch in a high leverage role. I think when you get put in high leverage roles on a team, it makes you feel part of it. So he's gonna feel like he's part of the winning culture here.
So we got some high octane fuel back there in the back end, but then there's also just some nasty pitches.
Abner, the unfireballer. It's hard to touch on what he's doing right now.
Octane, that's the first word that comes to my mind when I see him. It's a lethal combination. Right-handers do not want to get into the batter's box against him. They run away from the batter's box against him.
Trevor Megill it's a special arm, it's a special curveball, it's a special fastball. This guy as well, with the rest of them, wants to be out there with the ball in his hand. I hope he's found a home here for a while.
Some guys are they have to wear multiple hats. Sometimes, back-to-back days, they'll be wearing different hats. So
Hoby is our guy that you can really put out there in any situation. There's a low heartbeat. He doesn't really care if it's a lefty or righty out there.
An unbelievable pitch executor. He has 3 pitches. He executes them at probably a higher rate than anyone else on our staff.
Bryse is a guy that's been a starter before in the past, so kind of watching him switch over into that bullpen role this past year, I think he did a phenomenal job of it.
Bryse Wilson, Bulldog, I think he took the ball in every possible role last year.
Bryse Wilson is our unsung hero of last year. So this is the guy who is your Swiss Army knife. This is the guy who's a pen saver, a team saver.
Elvis Figueroa had a great year last year. I think he learned how to pitch at the big league level.
Model of consistency for me. This guy puts the ball where he wants. He attacks. He doesn't really waver.
He definitely had to earn his role, and he certainly did. By the end of the season, he was a dude for us.
There's a million different roles in the bullpen, and we've always got some cards to play when we're sitting at the table. So.
The vibe coming into this year it's almost like, I feel like we got really close last year and we brought back the same group, and it's we just picked up where we left off last year, We all vibe, we just talk out there, feed off of each other.
This is gonna be the one part of our team I feel it's gonna be the same from last year. Relievers don't have a lot of say sometimes in a clubhouse culture or on a team. But this is the group that you can kind of look at and be like, oh, you guys have done this before. You guys are, we can rely on you. You guys are consistent. You feel there's just gonna be this comfort to this group this year that I think is gonna bode well for the team.
We all believe in what we can do, and we all believe in each other. No matter the situation, any guy in that bullpen you put out there. Obviously, we have one of the best closers in baseball, but some days he can't pitch. So it's I can feel like I can rely on 4 or 5 other guys to go out there in that 9th inning and get that save or keep the score tied. And we believe that we are one of the best, if not the best, bullpen in baseball. And we kind of carry that into every single pitch that we throw during the games.
To be able to, go 5-6 innings and know that you have those 3 guys, 3, 4, 5 guys, honestly, it's so deep back there. It's relieving, man. It's I know that we have a great chance of winning this ball game or staying where we're at. When those guys have your back, it's a really great feeling.
Bueno, cuando yo llegué y vi a mi alrededor, vi que la cosa era personal, profesional y mentalidad 100%, y vi que todos andaban en su negocio, todos andaban en su business, entonces dije, no tengo de otra que hacer lo mismo, entonces.
Being able to have fun and have chemistry with guys is important. I really think you have to get to know each other, laugh together. You need to criticize each other. Things like that are important for multiple reasons. Just being accountable, things like that. It's very professional. I've been in some bullpens that don't feel all that professional. I've been in a bullpen or 2 where there is no fun to be had. I've been in bullpens where there's too much fun to be had. And I think that we have a great mix of professionalism, and I think everyone goes out there and knows what their expectations are.
Lo que sé del bullpen, de la armonía, que sí si hay personas que tú llegas a conectar profundamente con ellos y se vienen al paso de los días, se convierten prácticamente, vamos a decir, en familia, en hermanos, ¿sabes? Muy buena, una experiencia buena de convivir con varias personas más en el bullpen de diferentes nacionalidades y son cosas que tú conectas con la vibra de ellos y como que sí es algo que como que te impulsa y te motiva, ¿sabes? Como que la energía que muchos de ellos contienen, la vibra y todo eso, como que me motivan a mí.
I just want to be a consistent teammate, and I just want to go and pick people up when I can. When you got guys that like genuinely care about each other, it definitely it makes it very easy to fight that much harder. For the team, for the city, for your guys down the pen. That's what I noticed last year, and I made it a point to management to say that this is where I want to be, just because of those intangibles. So yeah, the camaraderie down there is top tier.
Me personally, if I come in with somebody else's runners on base, I'm more upset with myself if I give up their runs than if I give up a run myself. Because I know somewhere down the road they're probably going to come in after me and hopefully help me out. And that's one of the better parts about having a bullpen like we do is I can rely on that guy to come in after me, and I'm confident that my runs aren't going to score.
If you come in with that guy's runners on, if you're not friends with that guy, it might be a little easier to let some runs score. But if you're best friends with that dude, you don't want to let his run score. So there's definitely camaraderie and friendship down there that has to be a part of the bullpen.
Being a tight-knit group is extremely important. It's very individualized, but at the end of the day, if everyone else is doing their job, it makes everyone else's job easier, There's definitely pride involved. My feeling is that if we have a lead, the starter leaves the game with a lead, we should win. I was talking to Reese the other day, and he's saying, when it's the 5th inning and the starter's still in, and that they got their A bullpen about to come in the game, it changes their approach, because they're like, well, we got to do something right now, You know that the game is most likely over if you don't score right here. I think we're as important as anyone.
Unfortunately, some tough news here for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Star closer Devin Williams, 2 stress fractures in his back. Williams will be shut down for 6 weeks, rehab for another 6. Watkins expressed confidence he would make a full recovery.
Anytime somebody as valuable as Devin goes down, it's going to create a void, but we have several players who are ready to step up, and we have full faith and confidence in them to be able to fill that void.